Coach, your first primetime event at Lumen Field last night. What, before we get into the game itself, what did you think of the atmosphere and just the primetime game there last night?
Oh, it was electric atmosphere. I mean, we got the best. I'm convinced we got the best home field advantage in ball. The game didn't start or end the way we wanted, but we had a chance there in the middle and started to get some momentum, and you could really feel the electricity. The guys were into it. So it was an exciting atmosphere. I thought it was really exciting. If you take yourself out of it, it was an exciting atmosphere. But yeah, you want to deliver for the 12s, and we just weren't able to do it.
What do you think happened last night?
Well, it's a lot. I think we're still. It's kind of the same narrative that we've been talking about. Hey, we're not putting it all together right now as a football team, and you go back and watch the tape, and you're encouraged by a lot of the things that you see, and then you're also saying, well, shoot, we have to, let's go back, let's attack this thing on the details, some things that aren't showing up in critical moments, and let's make sure we're not hurting ourselves in certain situations. And that's what this weekend's going to be for, and so we can move forward and go from there.
You said you see a lot of positives. Let's start with those.
Yeah.
What are they? What are you doing well?
Well, I thought the guys played really, really hard, and so if we're out there and we're not playing to the level of effort, then that's not good. And so I think the guys, they're fighting, the competitiveness, the spirit, the passion, the physicality. I think that's all there on tape. Things we're certainly chasing on both sides of the ball in terms of how we want to finish plays, and obviously it goes to tackling. We're missing too many tackles right now, and so but the effort is there, and the competitiveness is there. So we definitely have areas that we can build on for sure, and so we got to make sure we bring that every week.
So if the effort's there, which is great, competitiveness is there.
Yep.
What is it that is leading to not being able to finish plays? Is that scheme? Is it communication? Is it
I think
discipline?
I think if you put it on one thing right now, I don't know if it's just one thing. So right. I think it's all the things. And that's going to be the mentality of how we want to move forward. So we haven't met as a staff yet this morning. We're going to meet thoroughly through it for the next day or two, and really try to get to the bottom of, hey, what are the things that we want to focus on, to move this thing forward and to make sure we're all on the same page.
How do you handle the self-inflicted wounds? Not the, two guys go up against each other and one guy wins, but mistakes that get made, fumbles, interceptions, those types of things.
Well, there's different levels of certain mistakes for sure. You're never going to play a perfect game. And so, in those moments, you want to keep your poise. And right now, when we make mistakes, big mistakes, like the takeaways, the explosive plays, you're not able to really kind of live, to fight another day. It's a touchdown or, the other team has the ball. And those are the things that really hurt throughout the course of a game. When you make other mistakes, hey, we got to be able to get it down so we can go play again. There's going to be things that happen throughout a game where, don't go your way. So we got to keep our poise, man, keep our heads up, stick together. And for the most part, we're doing a great job of that. And that would be my, message to the team too is, and we talked about throughout the week, hey, let's stick together, keep playing just keep playing, man, keep fighting. And we're doing that on the whole. It's just that the mistakes right now are too costly, to win.
Was there one of those last night that stood out?
Which
one of the mistakes that stood out last night? Takeaways on special teams and on offense is not going to cut it. We didn't take the ball away on defense, so you're -3 on the day, which is really hard to win, especially against a really good team. And if you miss the tackle once the ball gets 8 yards down the field, and those turn into explosive runs, then, if you can't get the guy on the ground, then that's going to be something you can't recover from on that drive. On that Julian Love one that leads to the Debo touchdown.
Yep.
Just watching on the, just my copy, it looks like he's almost in between. Is that one where he's got to make a decision between blowing the receiver up or going for the ball? Is he in between there?
Yeah, it's yeah. There's a timing mechanism to it. If you're breaking on the ball, hey, do I need to go for the ball here? Am I in a position where I'm in phase of the receiver so I can make a play on the football, or do I just need to get the guy on the ground and let's go. And Julian Love, I mean, we got all the trust in the world with him. I mean, he's a phenomenal player. He's playing really good football for us. And I think if you were to ask him now, would he made a different decision? I haven't talked to him specifically, but I'm sure he would have said, I probably just need to get him on the ground.
I always wonder how much the rules changes in the last few years affect plays like that, where the ball's in the air for a while and a receiver is quote unquote defenseless. I wonder if 5, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, it's an easier play for someone in the safety spot where he just goes in and blows them up. Yep. But now you got that thing in the back of your mind, like, well, I can't just blow them up. I'm going to get a 15-yard penalty if I do. Well,
yeah, those are the rules that are of the game, and we have to play by them. And the other team's subject to the same rules. So I think for the most part, guys we're making good decisions with the ball in the air down the field. But yeah, it's not an easy position to be in, but Julian can make that play.
You mentioned special teams. How would you assess special teams play for your team so far?
Well, I think it's a microcosm of our whole football team. We're doing some really great things in the cover game. I think that's probably the best thing we got going for us right now on special teams is how we're covering kicks. I thought our enthusiasm last night was higher than it's been, so the guys are fired up about making some plays. And then getting a kick return touchdown is obviously a game-changing type play, put us right back into the game. However, we had the takeaway in the return game, and then how we're fielding the punts and the kickoffs just need to be cleaned up right now. We got to make faster, quicker decisions. It needs to be clearer, and we got to improve in that area for sure.
I always hear coaches talk about all three phases. You talk about it often. Belichick was the king, obviously, of saying all three phases of the game. And then fans always think about two phases, right? We think about offense and defense.
Sure.
As a coach, how much emphasis can you put onto special teams over the course of a week?
Well, you put a ton of emphasis on it. I mean, it's a third of the game. So you talk about any of our team meetings, what we're talking about, it's a third of the things that we show, and you try to be efficient in front of the team. So I mean, that's our philosophy on how much tape we're showing to the guys when everybody's in the same room. But I think it's also it's football, its purest form, special teams. I think it's really cool. I mean, it's just an awesome part of the game, and it's also indicative of your football team, of the effort that you do, and it's the one phase where it's offense and defensive guys on the same side of the ball, which is I think it's cool for the team to see those plays.
Is there as much scheming in special teams as goes into offense and defense?
Well, each play is just higher leverage. It's like first, second, and third down all in one. Every time you're, sure. It's either fourth down, or it's in the kick return game. So it's like, hey, you get one shot at this thing in this particular place. There's a lot going on, but it's very much similar to offense and defense. Some teams believe in, hey, scheme simplicity. We're going to out-execute it, outplay it, and then some teams believe in some more. Stuff that they can throw at you, they have to prepare for, and they're trying to game plan a little bit more. So it is reflective of both sides.
Which of those would you put your team into? Which category?
We're probably more, if you put it right down the middle, we're probably more on the left of like scheme simplicity, try to out-execute, outplay you. But we're probably closer to the middle.
For your offense, how did you think Geno played yesterday?
I think Geno did a lot of good things. I mean, there's a couple throws he missed that he normally makes. The interceptions are it's a team interception, so the timing of the throw, the timing of the route, where the protection's going, are we on our proper landmark? Ultimately Geno's the guy pulling the trigger, so as a leader and as our quarterback, he's going to say, hey, those are on me. But as a team, we have to be sharper, and I think that's indicative of having a 2 interception game.
There's been a lot of talk about that second interception, the one where he's trying to hit DK down the field. Is that one where, can you describe what happens there? Is he supposed to keep coming across? He kind of looks like he starts going north-south before the ball gets there.
It's a team pick. It's a team pick. And so we're just not sharp enough, and it's really that simple. again, it's indicative of where we're at as a football team.
For a person who out there who's only played high school football, right, where a wide receiver is told you're running this route on this play, right? Yeah. You're going to run a post, you're going to run an out route, you're going to run a button hook, whatever. How much of that truly exists in the NFL versus on that play, for instance, he might have 3 or 4 different options or choices or things that he would do throughout?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it up to 4. I mean, it's you're always going to be playing off of leverages and whether it's man or zone and where the holes are in the zone and what scheme you're kind of operating in that world and what the route's telling you to do. But yeah, there's everywhere from, hey, you can do 1 of 3 things, or you're running this line, to your point. But yeah, I mean that's the flexibility that's in the league throughout.
So just on a play where a wide receiver has multiple options of things that they might run, how does a wide receiver and a quarterback know that they're doing the same thing?
Well, yeah,
they both have to read the same thing the same way.
Yeah, I mean these are routes and things that we've practiced, and that's how you do it. Just go out there and just say it's certain versus certain looks and timing and things like that. So that's why you practice. That's why you meet. That's why you have scheme. That flows from week to week, where you're not reinventing things. So, yeah.
On the running game, it looked like, after a conversation last week, that you guys certainly made a commitment to the running game. How do you think that went?
Well, it's still, I think we took a step in the right direction in terms of commitment to it. Some of the runs in the second half started to hit a little bit more. I know we only ended up with so many yards on like 20 carries, like, 50 or 60 yards. But when we have those opportunities, we got to take more advantage of it. There's opportunities for us in the run game that's going to show up on tape, and we're going to get it going. We're going to get the run game. Our players are too good. We have too many good schemes. They'll see it. We're gonna make it right. I mean, just our guys are too good of players to not make this thing come alive.
What makes you say that? I mean, I don't disagree, but like, what is it that they're great at in the running game? Is that your line? Is it your backs? Like, what is it that?
Well, I'll start with. I mean, we got our 2 backs are dynamite. And 2 backs are dynamite. I think our tight ends can block at the point of attack. I think our offensive line can move people when we target it right. And then we have the scheme to make sure that we're not just running it versus 17,000 guys that are lined in the C gap. So you have the ability to get into good looks, and all the mechanisms are there, and we just got to stick to it. I mean, it's a function of dedication and making sure we're on our details and finding the right schemes for us, and defensively getting stops early in the game so we feel like we can stay committed to it. So it's like I talked about last night. It's a team stat too. I mean, everybody's involved in this thing.
Just because you happen to mention the tight ends, it seems like every game I notice A.J. Barner doing something positive. What have you seen from him in the early part of his career?
The thing that I love about AJ's game is how he finishes and how he strains. He really shows up on tape about he's a guy that tries to finish in a dominant position and moving forward. And those are the guys we can go to battle with. And he's going to be a heck of a pro. He's off to a great start. He's got to be smarter on the perimeter with the holding call and how he handles some of those perimeter blocks. But he throws it in there. He's competing his tail off. So he's a guy that we can build around.
It seems like such a tough play where you're just, I mean, any referee can see you very well. There's nobody around you to try to mask anything you might be doing.
Yeah, well, so your hand's got to be right, and when he's outside the framework of your body, you can't be holding on.
Yeah. How do you improve turnover differential from a coaching standpoint? What levers can you push and pull to try to help with turnover differential?
Well, we have to practice it more frequently. We have to practice it better and hold the guys accountable when we're not doing it the way we want to do it. And so we're not doing that right now. And
what does that mean? Practice turnover different. How do you practice that?
Well, we can chart attempts. We can spend more time specifically on takeaway drills, and that there's give and take. So that's less reps and more team drills. But and obviously we need to spend more emphasis on it, more time meeting about it. And then when we do give the ball away, holding guys accountable, and be willing to make some decisions on that run. So it's kind of like everything else. Like everything's kind of on the table right now. we're a couple hours in after the game, so we're still in the digesting mode of kind of figuring out what's going on. We're going to do we're doing a full report on just where we are as a football team. What are the numbers? What is the film telling us? And let's go attack this thing.
Kind of a self-scouting type
Absolutely,
of thing.
yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, you said last night that you referred to it as a mini bye here as you get a couple extra days. What does that process look like for you now over these next couple of days before the regular week starts again?
Well, we're going to go to work today and really come up with a plan of attack for the next 2 days, and then on Monday with the players, and we'll just kind of give them where we're at, give them the update, tell them the truth, and we'll tell the whole team at the same time to show the players want to know, hey, why are we falling short right now?
Sure.
And so, at your position, you kind of have an idea, but as a football team, you want some clarity on that front. And then what's the plan of attack here over the next, how are we going to go make it right throughout the course of the week? So that's what we're focused on.
So to hear you, make sure I understand what you're saying, what you want to be able to do on Monday is come in and say, here's what's been going wrong, and then here's what we're going to try to do to fix it.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
So how challenging has it been to play 3 games in 11 days? And I know, you don't want to make an excuse out of it, but that seems like a lot.
Well, it moves fast, and how you allocate your time is a challenge. And so having this break here gives us an opportunity to look backward. As you get back on the short weeks, you don't have a lot of time to look about, get with the guys and do a full digest of what just happened. You're trying to look forward. And so this gives us an opportunity to get a good feel for what's been going on really for the first 6 weeks. I mean, it's the same message after the first 3 wins of, hey, there's a lot of great stuff on tape, and we have to get better as a football team. And some of those things that I think we got away with in the first couple of games have gotten us in the last 3 games.
So it sounds kind of like, in some ways, not that you ever want to lose 3 straight games, but if you are going to have the time afterwards to try to pick your head out a little bit out of the the day-to-day of prep, et cetera, to have some space and be removed from it, it seems like it comes at a pretty good time.
Well, yeah, you look at it in terms of, hey, this is an opportunity. Let's make sure we take advantage of the opportunity we've been given with an extra couple of days to do just like we said.
You faced a couple of teams in there that are very physical. Obviously, Detroit, San Francisco. How would you assess your own team's physicality so far this year?
Well, we want to be a team that when people play us, say that we're a physical football team, and that's going to be our identity. That's who we're going to be. I thought the effort and the physicality up front last night from especially our defensive line was. I know people are going to be like, well, you gave up a ton of yards running. It's like, we did, but these guys are playing really well up front on a whole. So this is something we're going to chase. I mean, and we're going to be a physical football team. Like, there's no doubt about it in my mind. And teams are going to know that what the Seahawks are about when they play us.
Yeah, so you said that last week too, and Brock went back, and I'm sorry he's not here today to talk through it himself. He's got UW and Iowa tomorrow, so he's got coaches meetings right now. Otherwise,
Gotcha.
He would be here. I'll apologize on his behalf. But if he were here, I think he would say, yeah, you know what? I went back, looked at some of the film, and saw exactly the same thing, that the defensive line was staying square and really was doing a lot of the things that you mention. So, what then becomes the messaging on stopping the run if you've got the front, which, again, layperson like myself says that's where you would try to stop the run, is with your defensive line. What comes next?
Yeah, well, it's not just like, stop the run with just 4 or 5 guys. It's all 11. There's primary fits, there's forces, there's secondary force, there's post. I mean, there's a lot of things where it has to be right. And right now, when I think what you see on tape is too high. I mean, there's high variance. So it's either we're playing it really, really well, or it's an explosive. And there's way too many. I mean, they probably lead the league in explosive runs, especially after last night because we played the extra game. But what leads to explosive runs? Missed tackles and in not taking proper angles. And this is something that we stress every day. We practice it. I feel like we practice the right way. So this is something that we're gonna go to work towards.
Yeah. All right. Well, Coach, certainly appreciate it. Twice this week. Thanks for coming by. You get a full week off of us next week, which I'm sure will be the best part of your mini bye, and then we'll regroup together after Atlanta. Appreciate you coming in this morning, and we'll talk then.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
All right. There you go. There goes the coach. That'll do it for us today as well.